Imagine being accused of witchcraft, not because of magic, but because of moldy bread. In the 1600s, women were dragged from their homes, chained, tortured, and killed, not because they summoned the devil, but because they ate bread infected with a fungus that could make you hallucinate, convulse, and lose your mind. This is the story of how one tiny fungus may have fueled one of the darkest chapters in human history, the witch trials. Salem, 1692. The village was cold, isolated. People were starving, grain harvests were weak, bread was made from rye, and that rye was damp. Then, the girls started acting strange. They screamed, twitched, spoke in tongues, claimed they saw dark spirits. One by one, they pointed fingers, wives, midwives, old women, even children. What followed was mass hysteria. Over 200 people accused, 20 executed, and an entire town plunged into fear. But centuries later, scientists looked back and asked, what if it wasn't demons? What if it was ergot? Ergot, fungus, grows on damp rye. When consumed, it produces a toxin similar to LSD. Symptoms: violent hallucinations, muscle spasms, burning sensations called St. Anthony's fire. Psychosis, death. In medieval Europe, entire villages were wiped out by ergot poisoning without ever knowing what hit them. Fingers and toes turned black. People danced uncontrollably in the streets. Some went blind. Some went mad. Sound familiar? Now imagine an entire Puritan village already obsessed with sin and the devil, watching young girls collapse in seizures and scream about witches. The devil wasn't possessing them. The bread was. Modern scientists like Linda Caporel have suggested that a perfect storm of weather, crop conditions, and paranoia led to the Salem Witch Trials. The 1691 growing season was damp and warm, ideal for ergot growth. The first symptoms began in the winter, right after people began eating that year's contaminated rye. It wasn't witchcraft. It wasn't sin. It was a fungus, and nobody knew. The real horror: we didn't burn witches. We burned victims of poisoning. We hanged innocent women because their brains were under chemical attack. Fear didn't spread because of evil magic. It spread because of mold and mass ignorance. History judged the witches. But maybe, just maybe, we were the cursed ones all along. So the next time someone tells you about witches and sorcery, remember this: the most terrifying curses in history weren't cast with spells, but with science no one understood. Subscribe for more dark truths, forgotten plagues, and terrifying lessons from history that we were never taught in school.